Welcome to the Four Brewers Podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I am joined by
Jason Harris.
And Greg Nagel.
This week on the show. We've got some news happening in our local beer scene here in Southern California.
All different kinds of news.
Awake for modern times.
Well, not yet. Technically on Monday.
It's even worse. It's worse.
Everything's supposed to happen. If anyone listening is unfamiliar with what we're talking about, the company Modern Times Brewery or Modern Times Beer, they were recently put into receivership by their bank, I guess.
They were hugely in debt.
Yeah, they've had a lot of debt, and COVID didn't help. So they closed down. I think it was 3 of their locations. Their location in Oregon, or no. Was it? Yeah, Portland, Oregon, the downtown, the Dankness Dojo, and then one other one, I believe. And then they kept open their San Diego, wherever their main brewery is in San Diego, obviously. And I think they had a tasting room in San Diego, and then Leisure Town,
the Loma Land, and
the Fermentorium
still open,
and then Leisure Town in Anaheim.
Yeah. And the rumor was that Maui Brewing Company out of Maui, which is still a privately owned company and a great company at that. I like the people at Maui. Garrett is a cool dude, and they run a good business, and they know how to make money and run a big business.
Talk about a good fit too.
Yeah, they've been expanding over the years, and they've never done anything stupid as far as I can tell, whether it comes to business or putting their foot in their mouth kind of thing. And they were rumored to have the high staking horse bid, I think they called it.
It was like 7.6 million, which was up till 9 was their last bid. And then there was some other North Carolina brewery consortium that was going in a bidding war with Brewery X here in Anaheim until it went up to 20 mil, I think was the winning bid. And that's the rest is history.
So Brewery X out of Anaheim, they got the winning bid for Modern Times, and we're not too happy about that. Brewery X, the beer, as far as I've heard, is fine. There's nothing wrong with the beer itself.
I think they just won a silver for IPA at World Beer Cup. So, a lot of people diss on the beer, but I do know some of the brewers there, like Trevor Walls, is their head guy.
I've heard the beer's very good.
Kyle was from the brewery. It's all local dudes. They work their asses off, and company culture aside, the beer's fine.
Yeah. But the problem is they opened
the company culture.
Yeah, I think they opened in 2019, right? 2018,
yeah,
2019.
2019, just before COVID.
Basically, right before COVID and right before the Black Lives Matter movement that kind of blew up in the middle of COVID. And they're known as being, I don't want to say they're a Blue Lives Matter brewery, even though that's what I think they are. But even it's incorporated in their logo. They're very much a pro-police, pro-EMS kind of thing.
Yeah, very pro-police. They're not going to make a post about Pride Month because they don't believe in it. They just fill in the fucking gaps. They never closed during COVID at all. They were just, typical OC COVID.
That's sort of the ironic thing is the brewery that didn't close down during COVID is buying the one that ultimately went out of business because they did close down during COVID.
Yeah, not that it doesn't mean that Brewery X did the right thing by not closing, because it's a completely different reason why Modern Times is closing down.
Like everything else going on in the fucking world right now, you get rewarded for doing the wrong thing.
That sure is how it seems, and it's kind of sad. So, as far as like societal viewpoints, I posted on our Instagram about this, and it's one of our most engaged posts because people are either like, yeah, this fucking sucks, or who the fuck is Brewery X? And then I'll just give a quick, I'll just basically say, hey, if you know where Modern Times stands in the world with their viewpoints, Brewery X is, as far as we can tell, the opposite.
Almost, pretty much the opposite. And honestly, fuck it. Like, I sincerely hope the folks that are working at Modern Times are able to find a better gig going forward. Like, I wish them well, and it sucks ass for them. But
my Instagram, I got at least 50 barf emojis replies to my post, which is not exaggerating. And then the people, like you said, John, that were like, who? And I was
Yeah.
like, imagine that Fox News bought MSNBC. That's sort of like, I mean, that's exaggerating, but it gets the point across, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah,
One thing I will
it's
like to
pretty sad.
mention, it's a mistake I've made. It's a mistake I've seen people making. Border X is cool.
Oh yeah,
Border X is rad. Yeah.
Border X is rad. Brewery X is a different brewery and much shittier. So I don't want Border X to like. I've seen them come up in the crossfire just because the names are similar, and it's like,
absolutely.
yeah, I just want to go on record. Border X rules, and they're cool fucking folks. So
Absolutely.
Brewery X can lick my fucking balls. So
yeah, and like I said, and you hear back at least from my point of view. I've heard back the people that have been sad about this are the people that I would expect to be sad, and they're typically cool people that I've known over the years. And I know we're basically screaming into an echo chamber as far as us being podcasts and media goes, because we do know brewery owners and brewery adjacent people in the industry, and maybe this won't affect Modern Times at all. Maybe Brewery X just keeps Modern Times going as a brand. I don't see how they can keep everything alive. Like, they just sold out of their latest beer, which is not the first time they brewed it, but the beer is literally called Medicare for All. They have a beer called Black Lives Matter. I don't see how Brewery X, unless they play both sides of the field, which that would actually be smart.
plot twist on the bottom of the can. It says Blue Lives Matter, LOL. But
yeah, I mean, just to own the libs. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't see how they can.
They're new fucking
like Modern Times in their whole ethos alive.
Their new Imperial Stout's gonna have cocoa nibs to own the libs.
There you go.
And here's the thing, like, a lot of people, we have friends that are huge Modern Times supporters and love their beer to death, right? And I don't put myself in that camp. I'm a beer lover first and foremost. I think Modern Times beer has been great, but I think they had some issues too, and
they have some of the coolest locations of any brewery out there, and I sincerely hope that someday a good brewery picks them up.
Yeah, so we all have random beers that we picked up for the show today, but in tribute to Modern Times, I'm drinking all beer from San Diego, and that's actually kind of a coincidence because I got home and I'm like, oh, check it out. I have all San Diego beer. That's kind of cool.
I could have gone and gotten some Modern Times beer out of the cellar, but I'd already gotten this one out and I wanted to do it on the show anyways, and it feels kind of spiritually appropriate. So I have a beer from another dead brewery.
Oh boy.
Pretty Things, if you guys remember them.
Oh yeah.
Pretty Things
out
is
of
unusual,
Boston, right?
In that they just quit.
Dude was old.
They didn't like go out of business or anything. They're just like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, this is Baby Tree from Pretty Things. This is a 2012 bottle from La Bodega. It was $8.99 at La Bodega. Sarah saw this and she pointed out, she's like, bet you today that's $16.99. I'm like, you're probably right.
Yeah, probably.
If it was sitting on the shelf now.
Yeah.
But it is a Abbey quadruple. But it smells sour. So we'll see how this goes.
All right. And mine, I have all pretty much topical beers today. Here's speaking of another brewery sort of going out, Gunwale Ales, as we all know, is leaving their Orange location, and a new brewery called Everywhere Beer Company is opening up, and this is their first collab with Radiant.
Oh, so they're taking that spot then?
Yep, they're taking over that spot.
I did not know that.
I'm so glad that
I knew Everywhere just opened, and that's one of the owners is friend of the show, Daniel Munoz. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He's so it's all brewery people. They got Stefan Weber, who's a good friend of Matt Becker. There's Sour Keith Pumilla from Brewery Taroo. And I just learned while I was at Firestone, Jeremy Greenkey, who is the brewery's like head seller or head dude behind all the production. He was handing out hankies, and he's like, here's an Everywhere hanky. And I was like, cool, you're part of that? He's like, I'm the owner. I was like, holy shit. So expect some cool things out of there.
Yeah, these are all people that once I associated their names to their faces, I've seen them all around social
Yeah,
media in the
all
beer
the best
scene.
people.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
It-
what the brewery is right now, right? Like they train people to make really good beer, and then
It's basically the
yeah,
BJ's of the craft beer world now.
it's
They hire
an incubator. Yeah.
Also-
they hire all these people that are they learn the business from the ground up, and they're like, bye.
Also, that beer name is when I first hear there's a brewery called Everywhere, immediately what jumps to my mind is that fucking 90s song. And that's the name of the beer.
Everywhere to
It's-
me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a, but you're everywhere to
I did not even
me.
associate that. That's
When I
funny.
close my eyes, it's you I see. It's that
Cool.
song. That's the name of the beer. Greg was 35
I
when
like
that
it.
came out, so he doesn't know the song.
Yeah, exactly.
My
What?
first beer is a beer from AleSmith. This is their Mexican lager. Do I have autofocus on? There it is. Called Clásico. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this beer, and it's pretty fresh too. It was canned at the beginning of May, which is pretty cool. But yeah, first time seeing it. I really like the design on this can. Looks very cool. It's like hand drawn, classic, like I don't know, Latin looking. I don't know, kind of reminiscent of
It looks like an
a
old
lager
wanted
you'd see.
poster. Like the font and
kinda, yeah.
everything kind of has that Wild West like.
Yeah, that's the logo from like the Mexican coins, like the eagle eating a snake or whatever.
I mean,
that
that's
bird
on the
is.
flag.
Oh, it is on the flag too. Yeah, it's all in all their currency, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's because on the flag. Greg's like, I've
Anyway,
never heard of.
I'm not an
Mexico.
expert. Yeah.
And since I'll just talk about this beer right now. It's really good. There is no head retention on this whatsoever,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to ding it for that necessarily. And the
All
head
that
was
corn.
very kind of soapy and those not tight knit bubbles, but the kind of rocky you look at it, it's going to be gone in 30 seconds kind of thing.
Yeah. Anytime there's like there's a lot of corn in the grist, you're not going to see any head retention, unfortunately. But
It doesn't come off too corny on the flavor, maybe on the aroma, but otherwise it's a fairly well balanced bitterness to malt sweetness. I dig it. It's malt forward definitely, but definitely a crusher, and it's coming in at 5.2% alcohol by volume. So
beautiful.
good stuff.
So a 10-year-old dusty cellar beer is always a risky fucking bet.
Yes, it is.
And this is also 9%, so but this is for a 10-year-old quad. This is holding up great. It tastes like fucking just like dark chocolate. Like it's almost gotten stoutier somehow. It's very there's almost no oxidation on it, believe it or not, which is surprising because the bottle sounded flat when I opened it. It kind of opened with like that like
It's a capped bottle, right? It's not
yeah,
cork.
it's a bomber. That's how you can tell it's from 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think the style quad lends itself well to cellaring. Even if it does pick up some oxidation, it normally doesn't hurt it that bad, unless it's heavy oxidation.
Yeah,
but
for a 10-year-old beer, this has held up tremendously. It's really good, and I'm a little pissed at myself because I have a bunch of beers that are 9% and I can't drink them all. So, but Pretty Things, go find them. Good luck, because they went out of business years ago.
all right, so we're 2 for 2. So how's that new collab beer, Greg? What exactly is that beer again? Is it a hazy?
It's a pilsner. It's a dry
okay.
hop pills.
it,
It's everything you'd ever imagined a dry hop pills would be at a Radiant. Very light body, very crushable. The hops aren't like way over. It's not like a Timbo where Timbo's like sort of like an IPA realm.
Yeah.
This is like very light, super crushable summer beer. Very light fruity note. But sort of on the subdued side, but just one of those beautiful, crisp, clean. It's almost damn near like champagne colored. It's hard to tell on here. There you go. It's just a very light straw, crystal clear, not a lot of carbonation. Beautiful beer. Hopefully we see a lot more lagers coming out of everywhere as well.
It really seems like lagers are continuing on an upswing. Like it's been a few years that lagers have been building momentum, and there's I think been a fear that it would just go like fucking brewed IPA or something where it became a fad, but it really does feel like there is more and more of a customer base for craft lagers, which is good because I love them.
At the Firestone Walker Fest, it's sort of like the litmus test for what people are drinking, and a lot of people are reaching for the lighter beers first, and then maybe having like a pinky pour of whatever the strong option was. But a lot of people standing at the end of that festival. It's not a shit show, as it were, due to just a huge array of pilsners and stuff. It's such a cool fest.
Easing back into the festival scene.
I had a blast, man. It was good.
Well, also too, I'm not sure how much they make it a big part of the advertising anymore, but at least historically, Firestone Walker Invitational always dictated that every brewery has to bring a sessionable beer. And it always really helps because that means whatever brewery you want to try, they have, in addition to whatever fucking 12% barrel aged fucking monstrosity they brought, like they're like
not a lot of that either.
And we brought a stout.
Yeah, you don't want to bring in, 4 15% barrel aged beers as they're only offering. I mean,
but if you think of like Bottle Logic at a fucking brouhaha, that's exactly what they bring. Like
the Fundamental Observation and Dark Star November.
Like at most of these festivals, a lot of the big, especially the hype breweries, will just come hard with a bunch of really big beers. They'll come hard all over your face, neck, and chest. And then it ends up being a shit show. And I really like that Firestone dictated that everyone brings a light beer, and it's built a culture around it. In fact, the last time I went, there was somebody made like a lager checklist, like an unofficial one that we were all like going around and ticking off. That was great.
Cool. Greg, you were at Firestone Walker Invitational this year. Was the vibe pretty much the same as previous years? I mean, I'm sure maybe you saw some masks here and there, but it's an outdoor event, so I doubt you saw any.
There was a couple of people in lines that they would put their mask on, and then once they got their beer, they would sort of wander off where there's like room.
How about there was a lot of? Was it the same thing where you hand someone your glass and they pour the beer and hand it back to you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't really control that unless they're pouring.
I saw a thing at a homebrew fest where they basically basically put the taps on the front of the kegs and like put the handles on the back of the not kegs, but on the front of the coolers, and then the handles on the back. And then you told them what you'd want, and then you hold it under the tap, and then they pull it on their end, and you just hold your glass, and there you go. The problem you have there is some people will put it up too high, and maybe the beer gets caught up in the faucet, and because you don't want to be touching the glass to the faucet itself.
Yeah,
but
ideally,
it was pretty cool looking.
Like GABF, they pour into pitchers, and then you put your glass on the table, and then they fill your glass, and nobody's touching your glass.
That's a cool way to do it. Except the pitcher, depending on how
and it's hot
how
out.
High the demand is for the beer, it could be there for like 5
tough
minutes.
On an outdoor.
Yeah,
it feels like the idea of a place where you have beer that you're in charge of the tap seems like a really good idea, and then in practice, every time somebody like runs that, they're like, "Oh yeah, I can see why nobody does this."
Yeah, and I did their tour. Firestone did it like a media tour thing, and I was the only one that wore a mask out of like 30 people in the media until I had to put on the safety goggles, and because they just fog up instantly. I'm like, I'd rather see than breathe. So I just
kept my distance. Real. I still wear a mask every day at work when I'm indoors, and I've learned to deal with it. But there's, like I said, I've talked about this before. There's sometimes when you're doing something and you're getting kind of hot and sweaty. Sometimes I just take it off. I'm like, I can't. I got to be able to see.
I don't do I don't have the glasses problem, obviously, but I can relate to that in that the other day I was wearing a mask. Right before I put on my mask, I had one of those Listerine breath strips. And with the mask on, it just funnels your external breath out. So I was just like burning my eyes. I'm just like, oh God.
One thing I learned was CBC, this year's CBC, the Craft Brewers Conference, was a super spreader event where almost everybody got COVID.
I saw that.
Home.
Yeah.
Green Cheek everybody that went got COVID, and I was like, fuck, that sucks, man.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I wouldn't, I don't know. That's not the same as the Invitational because with CBC, you've got a lot more private events happening. People are going to, bars and tasting rooms together, and it's definitely, you're more prone to pick something up in that environment than you are at a big outdoor beer event. So I saw that, and even if I got invited to CBC, which I haven't been invited in a long time, I would have declined because I just no.
Around these parts though, has anybody been doing anything? I'm sure the fucking Brouhaha guys are still going, but like
the Riverside,
I don't think they ever stopped.
That schools are back on.
I think the IE Brewers Guild did something. I know they did at White Park in Riverside. In April, I think. I couldn't go because I was on call for work. Otherwise, I would have gone. And White Park is a big open park. It's a nice park. It's right downtown.
Like for me, the Firestone's the first festival that I actually like that's come back. Like
yeah.
I'm just saying you asked locally, so
I'm just like I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, of the things I normally would have gone to, like most of them haven't come back. It like LA Beer, it's LA Beer Week, right now. Happy LA Beer Week.
And their kickoff is basically a very, very tiny ticketed beer event at Celador, and that's their main festival kickoff event. Which I think I saw Celador is actually going.
They're shutting down. Yeah,
they're shutting down.
Yeah.
Speaking of this, is a beer news
losing another good one. Yeah.
They're the nicest people.
Yeah, you know what's funny is actually one of their owners briefly worked at my work.
I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah. I was like, it was like, my other business is that I'm co-owner of this. I was like, oh yeah, I know Salvador. You know beer. Apparently, you know the beer world, and we had a good chat. But
nice.
Yeah. I don't think she works there anymore at my work. But yeah, it's a shame to see them shutting down. I don't know. Seems like a hard time to be a brewery.
And speaking of hard time to be a brewery, it seems like I just learned Taru is no longer open to the public.
Yeah, that's been a little while now. Yeah,
really.
Yeah, Firestone Walker Barrel Works, Jim Crooks was his position was eliminated, and
I thought he just left. It was eliminated.
Yeah, so he's gone, but he's been gone for quite a while though. But it was just sort of announced.
He was like brewery adjacent though, right? He was still kind of associated with them. And
I don't know. Well, he was the Barrel Works guy.
Yeah, Firestone Walker Sour Jim, like the.
No, I know, but
Barrel Works is still a thing.
I guess I'm confused.
Barrel Works. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I thought he had already left, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But I guess that's what. Yeah, I didn't know that Taru though was no longer.
Yeah, they're open
to
the
public.
Like. Yeah, I'm not sure how much they're focusing on sour beer production anymore. Like. Because the overhead and people just aren't buying them,
and that's a huge.
I think they're still using the facility. They're just not using the tasting room. And to be honest, I was there probably a month before I heard they closed it. It was fucking dead. Like for the first hour I was there was literally nobody else there.
I preferred that location over the Dunway, but the Dunway now is like they circled off like that entire Dunway parking lot where there's a huge tent outside.
Yeah,
is that really good there?
Yeah, it was the last time I was there, like 3 months ago.
Yeah, Spectre SR in the chat. I'm thinking of Jeffers. That's what he's. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Jeffers retired. He's an old fella.
That's exactly who I was thinking of. So, I didn't know Jim Crook's job was, or his position was, or his spot was eliminated. That's a bummer.
But, yeah,
you don't need a barrel master when all you got to do is just add more fucking fruit puree to your beer to sell these.
So if I'm Harrison over at the Blendery, I'd be like, how's my job doing?
If anybody's gonna keep a project like that around, like to the absolute limit of its financial feasibility, I believe it would be Beechwood.
I think the Blendery is so small. I mean, it's probably a large portion of their company, but it's not like Barrelworks was or how Taru is. It's a fairly well-sized spot for what they do, but it's nothing compared to the size of what Taru and Barrelworks are. So
nothing compares to Taru.
I think he's fine. And how can you get rid of Harrison? He's just
Greg,
a nice guy.
on the note of old songs, how do you like the fucking? It's a real Gen X moment right now. Like Kate Bush is fucking tearing up the charts. Top Gun is fucking in theaters again.
Top Gun was great. I love that movie.
It's 1986 all over again, dude.
The thing with Top Gun, like I knew this was going to happen too. You go on and like chuds on social media are like, yeah, people want to see military movies because people are patriots. Look, I'm as lib as it gets, and I loved Top Gun. I love fighter jets because they're fucking cool. They're awesome technology.
Yeah, jets
and
rule.
they're fucking amazing. I live next to a fucking Air Force base, and every now and then fighter jets will fly over, and I get chills because I think they're fucking cool. I don't like the military-industrial complex, but fighter jets are fucking cool, and Tom Cruise is awesome as Maverick, and it was a great movie. So,
I've heard it's
there you
great.
go.
I've been meaning to see it, and I think I missed my window to see it with the fucking Star Tours Rumble seat. Armando must have come in late because yeah, we are no longer. Oh, Kyle's here too. I hope you're doing all right, Kyle. It must be a very hard time for you.
It's hard times.
Yeah, I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Zach, Dr. Zach is Zach in our Discord, right?
Correct.
Is that the same
Yeah,
Zach?
that's Zach. Yeah.
Okay, because he is pissed.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I think Zach was one of modern times biggest cheerleaders. And rightly so, because their beer is great, and I mean everything about them when they first started was really, really cool. And like I was just channeling all of my anger through Zach in our Discord, and I'm just like, "Yep, keep going, man!" Like,
yeah. I mean, again, they're dead to me. Fuck them. I mean, not fuck them. I hope everybody who works at Modern Times lands somewhere fucking good. It sucks for all them, but yeah, what can you do? I got another beer.
What do you got, Jason?
I bought this one just because the label and the name. It's from Alasta, who I haven't had in a while. They're kind of local-ish here in Covina, in San Gabriel Valley here in Southern California. This is Haze Bangers Ball.
Oh, nice.
Which,
so
I mean,
it's an old MTV reference.
Speaking of Gen X shit, yeah, an MTV reference. Headbangers Ball was fucking rad. So it seemed like it'd be fun. And the guy at the store was really like, "Have you tried this one from Alasta?" And I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "Here, I'll try the Haze Bangers Ball."
Yeah, Alasta. They're within walking distance of Aero Lodge. As far as I remember. So if you go to Aero Lodge, you can literally walk to Alasta and have some dope beer.
One interesting thing about this beer is it's not very hazy at all. For being called Haze Bangers Ball, it's like
that doesn't surprise me about Alasta. Alasta tends to be more of a traditionally focused beer making brewery. So they're Greg, what do you got?
Some passion fruit and guava Fruitlands. And this is one of my favorite goses. I'm sad that that's pretty much the last time I'm gonna be drinking this, so I'm gonna pour a little bit out on the ground for my homies.
You know, me and Yvonne were talking about this on the way home, and I mean, it's one thing to buy a brand and buy a portfolio of beers and recipes and whatnot, and even locations, but if you don't keep the people that are making that product, that's where your downfall will ultimately be. And I think just because you're buying a company doesn't mean their employees can stay on board. Like you're gonna have to keep that going somehow. And I think that's another uphill battle that they're going to
2 years from now, Modern Times will be exactly like Green Flash is. Just a brand of a particular couple beers that pop up in stores occasionally. We already have people, I forget if it was in ours or another group, but I was somewhere and someone was like, "What happened to Modern Times? I'm in LA," and all of a sudden their beer's just gone. This was like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so already it's just their distribution seems to be fucking tapering down, and it just feels like they're really following the Green Flash path, which is at this point, Green Flash exists specifically as just a couple vanity brands for Sweetwater.
Yeah. And it sucks that it's gotten to this point with Modern Times. I mean, I don't forget like the drama that happened during the Great Reckoning from Rat Magnet brand from Notch. Like Jacob got caught up in all that, and I should point that out too. Like just because we're like sad Modern Times as a company is being bought by this other company doesn't mean they didn't have their issues. They definitely had their issues, but as far as their overall focus was concerned, with their views and whatnot, very much in line with what I think.
Quality of
what
beer
I
and
think we all
culture.
think. Yeah.
Quality beer and culture first.
Don't want to focus on.
I mean, again,
much,
there's
but
8,000 breweries now or some shit. And
10.
Is it 10? Are we at the 10?
Oh
10,
yeah, we crossed that.
And like we're trying to at least keep, like, I get it, right? Like the punk rock craft beer scene is pretty much as dead as the punk rock scene, but you got to try to keep it, some fucking bit of it, alive, right? Like it's all merging and acquisitions and becoming huge conglomerates and corporatizing, and
but,
like at least we got to try
as
to
far as
support
like local to Southern
good beer
California
a little bit.
As far as like breweries that are local to SoCal, though, I'm not gonna. It sounds bad to say, I'm not gonna miss Modern Times in that, like as far as them being on the shelf, because again, we're in like such a prosperous area when it comes to beer. Like we have so much to choose from that, and honestly, like occasionally I'd buy Orderville, and that was my one go-to
It's
Modern
fine.
Times beer. And that was a 4-pack of pint cans. But then there's also Swami's right next to it. That's the same price, and you get 2 more cans. And it's just it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, not that
Your
Modern Times
brain
wasn't
math
great,
kicks in, and
but
you buy the Swamis.
It's just,
that's
again, I got a lot of options on the shelf, and an easy way to narrow it down is not giving my money to companies that have shitty beliefs.
Well, especially now, yeah. So,
and like Modern Times did as much of a 180 as you possibly could.
It pretty much, yeah.
As far as what the brewery stands for, like, yeah.
My next beer is from what I think is still a privately owned brewery. What is it with my camera?
Coronado, baby.
Coronado.
It's not focusing properly. Usually it's on point.
You're putting a NAD in Coronado.
It's hard. I can't think of a better glow up than Coronado over the last few years. Like
they did the Carl Strauss path for sure.
They were really mediocre, kind of like more living off of being a tourist destination than making good beer. And then they were like they just
weekend vibes all the time,
kicking out some amazing IPA and just.
Well, speaking of amazing IPA, this is Palm Sway IPA. This is the first time I have heard of this beer. This was canned on May 26th. Today is June 18th, so this is super duper fresh. And this beer actually won gold for English IPA or New Zealand India Pale Ale at the 2021 Great American Beer Festival. And this is a fantastic smelling beer. This beer is really good. This is, I think, it's up there with like Pliny, that kind of thing, Swami's. Like it can totally hang. It's like a danker version of Swami's for me, but a little more tropical, a little more New Zealand. Yeah, I'll get into it later, but man, they called it juicy, tropical, and citrusy on the can. And my camera's really bothering me. Usually it's fucking on point. What is happening?
Palm Sway, baby.
He's got to sway with the palm.
It just focused right when you pulled away.
Like I have the same lens on there, right? Yeah, what's going on? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Yeah. But on the can it says juicy, tropical, and citrusy, and I thought it was a hazy IPA, but no, it is not a hazy IPA. This is a true West Coast IPA, super clear, like awesome stuff. So
this beer is a West Coast IPA disguised as a hazy IPA. It doesn't really have the flavor profile of a hazy. It honestly reminds me of a Smog City IPA, which for SoCal people, Smog's got a very distinctive way of doing IPA. Like their hops, like the way they express hops is very different than pretty much everybody else does it.
Yeah, I feel like they inject some resin.
Yeah, and this beer is very much that. It's bitter and kind of danky. And looking at the hop list that I found, it's Citra, Equinox, Mosaic, Mandarina Bavaria, Amarillo, and Cashmere. I'm wondering if it's the Amarillo that's making this beer taste so old school. it's just got such an old school kind of bitterness to it. Amarillo really feels like that might be the secret there that's making it taste this way. It's pretty damn solid though, and it's only 6-something%, which is pretty rad. Good job, Alasta. I haven't checked
That's
them out
good
in
to
a
hear
while.
from
And
out of Alasta, yeah, because I don't pick their beer up normally. I don't really have it available to me, but
yeah,
the couple times I've been there, it's been fine.
I think San Gabriel Valley's beer scene I kind of would compare to the Inland Empire, which is to say, that it's been not nearly as far along as OC or more core LA County.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see it picking up. This is a really good beer.
Cool. I don't think I've ever checked that brewery out.
They're worth checking out. They're not going to blow your doors off, but they've been around for a long time. They're like Last Name, where they just
I like
exist
Last Name's beers,
and they make really good beer. And yeah, and there's some beers from Last Name that have been really, really good that have blown my doors off. But
they just rebranded. I saw a bunch of their cans for sale somewhere, and they actually look cool.
Nice. Are they still Last Name? That's still their name.
Yeah, they're still called Last Name, which is a terrible name, but but they at least have kind of cool art now. Let's see if I can find it. I'll share it.
Yeah, they used to be Dale Brothers, and then they had to change because some other company had that name, and they're like,
they never trademarked the name.
Oh no, that's what it was. Yeah, it was.
Good Christ, could you pick something else like Brosedale or something?
I mean,
yeah,
Dale
Rosedale would be dope.
in the beer world is kind of
Brosedale, come on,
Oscar Blues at this point. So I don't know. Last Name is not a good name though. But
speaking of Oscar Blues, when I was cleaning out my closet, I found a can of Gordon, not Goodnight.
Gordon. That's a Scotch ale, right?
Yeah, and it's old enough that it was still called Gordon. So it's got to be 2010 or some shit.
It's got to be Scotch at this point.
Yeah.
How's that Fruitlands treating you, Greg?
Dude, it is. I'm not a big fan of Gozes, but because of the acid and sort of there's like fruit bombs, Fruitlands is one of those that isn't your stereotypical like acid bomb. It's just sort of like you can tell there's fruit there. And it's passion fruit and guava. They let the guava sort of ride that acid note. And as far as like the bready cereal thing that you sometimes get from like a Gozer Berliner, that's not there at all. It's just one of those refreshing, crushable, delicious fruit beers. Fruit.
Yeah, I mean it's called Fruitlands, right? So you want to focus more on the fruit than you do on the Goza, I think.
Yeah, the can hole smells so good. That makes
but
my
I
mouth
will
water.
say, having had the Fruitlands beers before, I think they do a good job of they don't just dump fruit and sugar into it.
Yeah, it's definitely balanced.
They get a good fruit flavor and tartness that's refreshing without being
it's super dry. Yeah, it's very dry.
It's a good pool beer.
It's a really good pool beer. Don't seek it out.
Just put an X.
This is probably the last time you'll see Modern Times on the show. So
yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah.
I might go I might go over to Leisure Town and pick up some stuff. Just close it out. Close my tab there.
You have until Monday, Greg.
I'll bow in their honor.
One last munch wrap.
I'm glad I got to go to Leisure Town once with you guys to at least experience it. So.
Did you even get vegan food? We were like, finally, we got a place where John could get some fucking vegan food. I don't think you even got anything.
I didn't know.
That was fucked up. Their food's good.
I ate before I went. So I did a big run before then, and I was feeling kind of dizzy. So I just ate. So
see how it goes.
Wrapping things up with this beer from Coronado. Again, Palm Sway. This is just fantastic, like such a great beer. My fucking camera's pissing me off so hardcore. It really does give me Pliny vibes. It's a more West Coast, like San Diego version, I think, of Pliny, citrusy, tropical, a little resiny, but still super dry. Very, very aromatic.
Again, like fucking Coronado climbing up there to be like almost on Pizza Port level of just solid 6-pack West Coast IPAs. Just they're a fridge staple.
Again, 6-pack of pint cans. The only other brewery that's doing that right now is Pizza Port.
Yep.
And do not sleep on Coronado. I am like, I like in the year 2022, I did not think I'd be like pimping out Coronado. Like, you need to get their shit. This is good beer. Like,
and they
and
I can get that shit at the grocery store.
you can. It's a sleeper. It's so good. And Jason, if you see this, I'm telling you, buy it. You will fucking love it. It's really good. This is fantastic beer.
In the year 2000.
So, and I think everything I have is in a hop forward beer. Well, no, I had the that was a lager. Yeah. Never mind what I just said.
I'm excited about my next beer. I don't even know if you call it a beer. It's Return to Saturn from Bottle Logic. And dude, talk about label art. These people pulling out all stops with their
design has always been pretty fucking top notch, yeah.
And this is their series of beers that they're creating with collabs, and they're basically like cocktail inspired beers.
Oh wait, I had that one
with
before.
the intention of pouring it over ice.
Really? Didn't I do that one on the show?
Yeah, so I crushed some ice.
Because I think I remember bringing it up, and Greg was like, "Yeah, a Saturn is a tiki drink," or was that somewhere else? Yeah,
yeah.
I did not know that Saturn was a tiki drink.
It's one of the oldest tiki drinks.
Yeah, and Return to Saturn also is a No Doubt album. I don't know if you know that, Greg. Being from Anaheim, you should, but.
Yeah, I live right down the street from Stefani's house. I know my.
I assume they like teach everyone in school, or whatever. And like, there's a whole No Doubt section and history, and
there should be. If there isn't one, there should be. I know my daughter dresses like fucking Harajuku now, so.
Oh, good.
It's hilarious.
I love how she goes through phases. It's cool.
All right, got my crushed ice. I crushed it in my Lewis bag. And by the way, my cooler I bought just for the show is a pineapple backpack.
That's great.
That's how you know I'm all into my tiki drinks. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm not a huge tiki drink fan, but I do enjoy them.
You're pouring a beer over ice. That's so bizarre. Yeah, it's gonna foam up.
Lots of nucleation.
Yeah,
but they said they it's like 13% or something like that. And when they were crafting the recipe, they had to figure out how strong it was going to be based on ice. So because
it's going to water it down a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man, that smells just like a fucking Saturn, except it's bubbly.
I've never had a Saturn.
I swear to God, like I had that cocktail like. A week after being at a San Diego tiki bar and spending 4 hours drinking there, and I was like, "What the fuck is a Saturn?"
So they gin barrel aged their sour ale. It's fruit sour ale aged in gin barrels. So like an Old Tom gin, and then they finished it with passion fruit, orgeat, and falernum and lemon, and it is fucking delicious for 13%.
Yep, I had that before, and it really does just taste like a tiki drink. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, kind of reminiscent of it, but beer, it's like, oh no, this just tastes like almost like a canned cocktail. Yeah.
How is the acidity? Like, is it?
It's very bright. It's got that sugar. You know, you expect some sort of like balance with sugar and acid from lemon, and that's definitely there. The orgeat, you don't really get orgeat is more of a mouthfeel thing. Like it's almond puree that's been like fermented and added into like a syrup.
It's a syrup, right?
Yeah, and it's there for like mouthfeel and stuff like that. It's sort of gritty. Maybe at the bottom of the bottle, you probably pull some of that out. But and falernum's like velvet falernum is like it's like a Barbados tiki cocktail staple. It just adds this funky vibe to whatever drink you're making.
I had this wild idea that I was gonna do like a tiki party, and I was gonna do like I'll do like 4 drinks. You know, like I'm gonna get the stuff to make like 4 good tiki drinks, and that was gonna be about $500. So I fucking opted out.
You
like
just want
literally
one,
all
dude.
the ingredients to make like a few good tiki drinks is like $500. It's crazy. All the weird
and
shit
the time it takes to fresh juice all of your stuff, because if you're buying like the Tropicana shit and putting it in there, it's not good.
Yeah.
You got to use fresh juice.
There's a reason that like that's a good concept for a bar. It's like, this is shit you can't get at home, right? Like,
this is 10 out of 10, man.
It would take me an hour
really
to
good.
this goddamn shit.
I mean, Greg, that beer on Untapped has a 4.36. So
it is goddamn delicious.
And from the photos, no one's putting it over ice, which I guess you can drink it straight too as well. But
I think it'd be a little heavy. Let me just try it out the bottle.
It feels like it would be a better experience over ice, because especially since you said they designed it with that in mind, that makes sense.
I mean, it's not bad out of the bottle. It's a little got too much carbonation. And
also, ice is going to make it that much colder too, right? It's going to bring it closer to like a freezing point. And
with any tiki cocktail, you have to be using crushed ice. And like if you use these huge clunker cubes out of your fridge, it's just going to not do well. The issue, like I've got like ice forming on the outside of the glass. That's how you know you have a good crush on your ice.
Okay, cool.
Oh man, this is like 10 out of 10. I'm going to go buy more bottles of this and just have it on hand for parties. It's like,
is it still available?
Yeah, it was in their tasting room.
I think you bought it yesterday. Yeah,
cool.
There was that. Oh, I didn't technically buy it because I didn't bring my fucking wallet, but they loaned me bottles.
Do you have a tab at Bottle Logic now?
I do.
Nice.
I've been drinking a new beer and it's not very good. So this is the brewery is called Hop Butcher for the World. New to me.
Okay.
Hop Butcher.
It's no modern times.
The beer is called Chicago Henge.
I've heard of Hop Butcher, but what now?
I mean, on Untapped it says Hop Butcher for the World, although Hop Butcher on the branding is bigger.
Okay, that seems okay. I'm familiar with Hop Butcher.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not very good. It's a Nelson Rakow Phantasm double IPA, and
Rakow.
I don't know. It just got. It's really hard to describe.
Is that a dank asparagus thing or what?
Yeah, actually, the asparagus-y thing is maybe
Jamaican asparagus.
It's just,
as I call it.
I don't know. It's got a really, really harsh aftertaste. There's not a lot of hop aroma on it. The flavor is just kind of sweet and like it finishes a little hazy IPA, but it just feels unbalanced. And I don't know. It feels like it's trying to be every kind of IPA at once, and it doesn't really pull off being any of them.
Is it like a green hop character where it needs more time in the can?
No, it's like you get a bitter bite and then it finishes like sweet white cake. So it's just this weird mix where it's like sweet bitter.
I don't want that.
And
would you say that they butchered the hops in that one?
Yeah, exactly. Look how they massacred my hops.
Yeah, when it comes to, I mean, when we say white cake batter in these hazy IPAs, you want to have like low bitterness on those beers, because you're gonna, it's kind of like a malt forward tropical hazy IPA. Whereas if you don't have that white cake batter thing, it's more of a candy like or even drier tropical IPA. And to have like that, it's a big clash when you have like bitter and white cake batter, because who wants to eat a bitter cake? Like, I don't know.
That's kind of it. Yeah. It's like eating a bitter cake. It's almost got that orange juice and toothpaste thing going on, Like it's not quite that, but it's like in that zone enough where you're just like, I'm not really enjoying drinking.
So are you opening something else in lieu of the Hop Butcher?
Yeah, fuck that beer. So I've got Secret Prototype by Grimm, who I haven't had a beer from them in a little while. I'm trying to do some different stuff this week, branching out a little. So
I like it.
This
not
is
all Swamis for a change.
I mean, that's what I drink when I'm not on the show. So I don't know anything about this beer. Grimm doesn't put any fucking details on it. It just says India Pale Ale.
On Untapped, it says it's brewed with Mosaic, Strata, Citra, and Columbus hops. And then
Columbus is a weird addition to that mix.
It could be a bittering hop. I mean,
could be. Columbus is danky too. This isn't really a hazy boy. My camera's blurring it, so it's hard to say. But
they call it an IPA on Untapped. So
it looks like an unfiltered regular IPA. This I would not say this is
head retention is notable.
Yeah, it's foamy. It's got a good,
And it's
nice
kind of like a
meringue
dark
head.
orange too.
Good nose. It's a little bit hard to find. It doesn't jump out of the glass, but
I'm gonna jump out of your glass.
fuck you, Greg.
Hey,
Oh shit!
Hey, it's
Yeah,
me.
this
I'm a hot butcher.
I'm butchering the
My-
hops.
my next beer is from Societe out of San Diego, California, and this is a tall stovepipe can of the Pupil.
All day, dude.
Again, the
Oh.
trend here is pretty fresh. This was canned on April 13th, so it's about 2 months old, which
It's-
is still pretty damn fresh.
I love that the brewery that told us that they were never going to package their beer. Like, I get that they started to package their beer, but a stovepipe is like a whole different level of packaging your beer. It's now in a gas station package.
Well,
Like-
I mean, that means
They sell
it's
those
because
at-
someone left. You know, one of the
Yeah.
owners left, and
Those are big at Padre games. I mean, the issue is you buy one big beer that you don't have to keep getting up and buying more beer, which is
one
genius.
big beer for $20. And
And I'm 100% down. If I saw Pupil, I'd be like, "Yep."
I was at this weird, like, it feels like a pop-up venue in Irvine when I went to the Vagrant show, the Vagrant 25 anniversary show.
yeah,
They had probably 50 booths selling alcohol there. Like, just more booths than you know what to do with. But I got a whole ass bottle of wine. They're like, yeah, we have wine by the bottle, and it's like, how
like a
does that work?
$7.50 of wine.
Yeah, like they take a full real bottle.
How much
and
was
then
that?
It was like $45, which
Dude,
compared to a
100%,
$20
right?
beer is actually a pretty good deal. And then I got like some Post Malone rosé or some shit.
I love how
and
you were drinking wine at a Vagrant fest.
I was
So-
drinking rosé, dude.
He's like,
and then
"Pinkies out, bitches."
and then
That's perfect.
they pour it into like a carafe, like you'd get orange juice at a restaurant.
oh, so
they
you don't
have
get
like
the
a-
bottle. You just
They
get
have like a
so,
plastic carafe. What?
Yeah, carafe.
so they
How
basically
do you say it in
decant it
German,
for
Greg?
you, and then you.
No, it's just carafe.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
take
carafe.
they take the bottle, open it, and they pour it into a whole thing, and they give you cups. But then it's like, dope! I got a whole ass bottle of wine. So I'm sitting there drinking rosé, singing along to Alkaline Trio like a fucking middle-aged douche.
Did they
It was
play?
great. Yeah,
Welcome to your
Oh.
40s, my friend.
yeah.
Cool.
Alkaline Trio, Dashboard Confessional, Get Up Kids.
There were a few people
Thrice.
like you were there. I know Beth Demon was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hung out with her at Firestone. She's great.
It was a great show.
Like it was like
that-
I don't think you guys saw each other. Like it was
No.
4 different people on my different
Yeah.
social medias that were all at the same show but did not interact with one another. It was
That
pretty
venue
cool.
is really weird because everything in it is temporary. Like all the stands are clearly like they're not stuck to the ground, they're just set on the ground. Like all the lights in the parking lot are generator lights that roll in, and like everything there, like if they told them to shut it down, they could probably clear the whole venue out in a week. It's there's trees, there's literally trees behind the stage,
There's
they're
carnies.
and they're in giant like 20-foot wide planters. Like when we leave, we're gonna take these trees because
It sounds like a permit issue, like a zoning
There's a
issue
big
where
sign
Sounds like
it's,
there.
Irvine happened.
there's a
it's-
big
it's
like
sign that
fucking
says
Irvine.
like save live music in Irvine or something. So I feel like they're like getting like a 2-year extension of their lease every 2 years. And they're
yeah,
like, we
I
can't-
feel like
the city
they're
won't give it to us.
they're working around like the rules and the codes, and it's like, oh, this is all temporary, right? Yeah, we could pack it up in a day. So
Hey, this Grim beer is pretty good, you guys. It's pretty typical West Coast IPA, to be honest with you. It's not super outstanding as far as aroma. I would like a little bit more hop aroma on it, but the flavor is really good. It's that modern hop bursted kind of beer, super drinkable, really good. Give it a shot. Grim doing good stuff, I guess. Still haven't had them in a while.
The Brothers Grimm. That's what
yeah,
Kyle says in the
the
chat.
Pupil. What's the other beer like that people that are fans of Society? It's like the Pupil and what's the
Harlot?
other IPA?
Harlot is my. It's like the Belgian yeast driven, like Pilsner, like Belgian Pilsner.
Okay,
That's
but no,
super
they have another
refreshing.
IPA. I think that's like it's like
The
they
Pupil
duke it
is
out.
like the Pupil is the one where they switch up the hops all the time.
Okay,
So they're
Alright.
learning about hops that's why it's a pupil,
I forgot about that. Okay,
not an eyeball
Well,
pupil. It's It's
So I
assumed
can't
of hops.
exactly say what's in this beer unless they list it on the can.
They should list it.
Let's
Ralph.
see. Hop Triumph, bright notes of guava. They just list what it's supposed to taste like. Yeah.
Bummer.
So
I have a teaser. My next beer is a Greg Nagel beer.
well, I'm going to finish.
Oh, I know what it
this
is.
beer real quick.
And you're gonna love it.
And you're gonna love it.
I guarantee it.
This is very much a San Diego IPA. I don't know. I mean, these are all San Diego, at least the two, Coronado and the Pupil. But it reminds me of a Stone beer, where it's like classic San Diego IPA, where you get that kind of maltiness, but also like dank, kind of rich mouthfeel hop resin character going on. Very, very different from the Palm Sway IPA from Coronado, where that was more bright and dry and dank. This is more San Diego West Coast kind of. It's still bitter, but not as bright on the hops, but still danky and resinous. Very good beer. I haven't had the Pupil in a while, especially since they started canning this beer. But it's excellent. This was canned, like I said, in April, so still super fresh and very, very good IPA. Love it.
Nice.
Society has yet to be sold out to some other bigger brand.
They're still
or
hanging
brewery
on.
or-
They're still one of the good
Yeah.
ones.
So here's to hoping.
Yeah, I'm cracking open a Gunwale Ales beer. And this is a huge nod to their orange location, because if you look at the label art, it's got this tile with this like a tile in the middle that's like a bird.
Yeah.
And that's actually their bar. So if you ever go to that location, hopefully the new owners will keep that bar because it's so rad. But who knows? I might actually keep this can just to have on hand because it's such a throwback to that location that's no longer going to exist. But this is a Chocorado, which is like a play on a Mexican hot chocolate, I believe.
Cool.
Sort of like the what's the Stone one that they do? That's like
the
Chocovesa
Cocovesa, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the Mexican hot chocolate beer generally is a good recipe. It typically produces a pretty good result.
Yeah, it's not as heavy as like a chocolate stout, and that thinness I think is balanced out by like that, because I think that's made with like milk sugar too, right? In those beers.
I would think so. Yeah, it's got that it's got that lactosey mouthfeel. Like it's a big taste to it.
That you got the spice in there too. That kind of gives it a little bit of a kick, and it's not too much of one thing. It's a nice amalgamation of different flavors that like just taste really good together. And Jogavesa from Stone, at this point, it's probably my favorite Stone beer of all time, just because it's so well done. And I mean, it's also like a holiday-ish beer, and so I have holiday vibes when I drink that beer. But it's a very good beer. So I agree with you, Jason.
Armando coming in with a correction, which is that Champurrado is made with maza, not chocolate.
Oh, all right. I just assumed that the name Chocorado would have implied some sort of blend of the two. It drinks like a Mexican hot chocolate, like that abuelita chocolate sort of vibe to it, with like a kick of cinnamon in the back. It's a 9%er, but you don't really get all 9% of that. It's sort of in the like 7-8% realm. Really big chocolate on the nose, and you get all the spices sort of on the back end, which is where it should be. And it's not overly sweet, which is really cool too. It's my last can of it, and I've enjoyed it. It's really tasty.
What exactly is maza? I'm trying to look for it.
It's probably masa, maybe a typo.
Yeah, because I never heard of maza. Let's see. Let's try masa.
Yeah, cornmeal masa.
Us white dudes here. What's maza?
What the hell's a taco? Hold on a goddamn minute. Just one goddamn second here.
It's corn.
Yeah.
Okay.
What what
stuff you
in
make
the fresh hell
tamale
is
out
a
of.
goddamn chimichanga?
His direct quote is corn, bro.
Love it.
We are
Thanks,
so
man.
fucking white.
Love it.
I'm auditioning to be on a Texas beer show. What the hell's a goddamn chimichanga?
God, you sound just like Mike Judge, dude.
That's kind of what I was going for. Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog. All right, my beer for Greg. Greg knows what it is because we talk about it in chat. Robot!
Stereo Brewing Company, Robot.
Stereo Brewing, Robot. It is an Imperial Red Ale, which Greg has been on a crusade to get red ales made. And everyone's like, why though?
And dude, wait till
Stereo, I also
wait till you get that liquid in your mouth.
Well, now I don't want it.
That beer is straight up like caramely hop Novocaine, dude. It'll numb every feeling that you have in your body.
It really does kind of give you you're like, oh yeah, like it's like a little bit syrupy, but not
So
like
resiny.
a lot, but like there's this coating effect to it that
it's like
in
10%.
a good way though.
Yeah, remember Knuckle Sandwich was a bid of this. It bid as a triple I or like a double IPA or whatever.
Yeah,
and Robot sort of like they look the same, they taste the same, but Robot just is so drinkable for what is it, 9.5?
I compare that beer to Arrogant Bastard, not Sandwich.
It's like a more drinkable, less bitter Arrogant Bastard.
Much
maybe
like Sabertooth Squirrel from Smog. Like both of those beers are like different takes on Arrogant Bastard that are better.
Oh, totally.
I mean, not that Arrogant Bastard is brewed poorly or like it's a bad recipe, but it's intentionally made to be like an abrasive beer. And I think these breweries have taken that and said, okay, let's make this something that's not as abrasive, but still reminiscent of that beer.
It's funny to think of the era when so much beer was just like, I'm going to fucking punch you in the face, you too much of a fucking bitch to handle it. But I guess that was coming right off of the end of the like extreme era of everything.
I don't know. Arrogant Bastard, I think, was the start of the extreme everything.
Well, I mean, extreme everything like in the world, right? It'd be like, you want some chips? Well, these chips are fucking extrime, bitch.
Like extreme Doritos or something like that?
Yeah, like extreme soda, Mountain Dew, fucking code fuck yourself. Like... Like you
still have to try that Mountain Dew, like whatever with alcohol in it. I don't know, Code Red something.
God. Yeah, we're gonna drink the Code Red fucking hard seltzer.
I want to try it. I like Mountain Dew, and I mean, if I'm gonna drink a hard seltzer, I'd like it to be Mountain Dew flavored. So,
why are people talking about Bloody Valentine in the past tense? Did they stop making it?
I don't know. I see it around February. I think it's a seasonal.
Them peoples would be Dr. Zach, and I think they still make it. I mean, maybe he's referring to it was as in like last year.
I don't know, man. If there's somebody who would be in the know that they don't make it, yeah. You kind of have the twins, right? You have Bloody Valentine and Evil Dead Red,
right?
Which are kind of the same beer.
They are.
It's hard to compare them because they're released like 4 months apart, but they're kind of the same beer.
And also, AleSmith still's trucking along, man. Talk about independent breweries, like
AleSmith.
Dude, they're making cheese and shit, and
Cheese Smith. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
Of the big San Diego breweries, they're the one that's still chugging along, and they didn't become evil. They didn't fucking sell out.
It's like a beer geek is still
they're still
like
relevant.
Being a beer geek, and it's just bigger, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like I'm still a beer geek, and like we're doing things the right way. It seems like AleSmith can do no wrong at this point. They survived the pandemic without any like speed bumps. It seems
not in the news.
I actually am going to be staying pretty close to AleSmith next week, so I'm going to go down there. Next week. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, if you're on the Beer Mesa,
I'm be on the Miramar Strip. Yeah, I'm going to be on the west side of Miramar Boulevard, but still not far.
Yeah, go to the
kind of by UCSD.
Miralani Makers District. It's like a little area. So it's sort of by Cutwater, but there's like there's a sake brewery there. There's a winery. There's like people that make salsa. There's a sushi joint. All kinds of shit. Like you can just walk around, park once, and walk around this little strip mall of craft makers. It's pretty rad.
And there's a Top Gun tie-in. So there you go.
That's right.
Because Miramar.
I'm sure I've told you guys this story, but when I was a
Take
kid, I
it
was
to the limit.
absolutely obsessed with Top Gun. Like it was like my absolute favorite movie, and I just love planes and everything. And we were going to like the San Diego Zoo, and I'm like, Dad, I know the Top Gun base is here. We got to go there to see the jets. And I'm thinking now as an adult, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll fucking see the jets. Yeah, let's go down. We'll go by there. Yeah, maybe you'll see a jet. And it's like we go by there, and there's an F-14 flying with its wings out.
Perfect.
And then it turns like this sideways so I could see it perfectly, sweeps the wings in, and then like afterburners out. And I'm just like, holy shit, you could even plan that better. Like,
dude, yeah. And that, like, oh God, that's happened like 3 times when I'm going down the 215 driving by March. Like I don't know what F it is, but
they have the
it's an F something.
there. Yeah,
but it just fly, and I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, that's so cool. And then like they're always doing flyovers of like their cargo, like C-141s, or I don't know what they're doing now, but like the big cargo jets, like
Miramar now, you get a lot of the Ospreys, the helicopter planes or whatever that like.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did a site build right across from the airport, and it's real fucking annoying because they were taking off every 5 minutes or so, and I was in an uninsulated warehouse. It was so annoying, and it was also 100 degrees and like 90% humidity that week. So I was just sitting there sweating my fucking balls off, and every 5 minutes just. I'm like, fucking kill me. This is the worst.
I will say the creepiest thing about living next to March Air Reserve Base is they do drone training, and so drones fly over my house. And
the Predators or whatever, with the big egg fucking nose.
They got the egg front end and like the V wings on the back, and it's like a I don't know, a weird shaped X. That's creepy. Like I do not like seeing drones fly. I know they're just training, but it's you think about all the destruction that drones have done to innocent people, and you see that and go fuck.
You just got to get an RPG and shoot them down, man.
Cool. But,
yeah, we're gonna get shit. Has anybody got to light on some Stinger missiles that we can get John in Minecraft?
Anyway,
we're gonna get a fucking visit for the goddamn FBI. I'm not gonna shoot down a plane. I love planes. They're fucking rad. Planes rule.
Am I? Where are we at on beers? Are we on our last beers?
I'm done. Yeah,
I'm done. My
final beer is again San Diego. I've had this beer for a bit, but this time it's in cans. This is Red Poppy.
Yeah, Red Poppy, baby.
The can looks so badass. It looks like one of those candles, like a saint candle.
It does, right?
Yeah.
This is in like one of those Red Bull cans. Is this a 12-ounce can? I think it is a 12-ounce can. Yep, 12 ounces.
Yeah, Red Bull cans look smaller, but they're the same size. They're just a little bit taller.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks like you're gonna go to confession and be like, "Hey, Tommy, forgive me for I have sinned."
I haven't been to Lost Abbey for it seems over 2 years.
We're gonna go to Lost Abbey and get in a booth, and it's like Tommy comes into another booth. Probably we assume because we don't see him, and it's
we
just
confess
like, forgive
our craft
me.
Beer crimes.
I've had several kettle soured beers. Well, I want you to drink 3 Red Poppies,
three Red Poppies,
and chase with 1 Duck Duck Goose,
followed by a Judgment Day.
That was my first beer, Firestone Walker, by the way. I walked straight to Lost Abbey and had me some DDG current year, and it was goddamn delicious.
They gotta put a
I actually have
in Lost Abbey. That would be the best beer gimmick.
This is the current DDG. I have it right behind me.
It's really
I just haven't opened it yet. But as we learned on the show, DDG is best drink fresh. Do not cellar this beer. It's stellar fresh. But this Red Poppy coming in at 6.5%, which I thought it was higher than that, but a very crushable 6.5% is very good. Barrel notes are very. I would say for red poppy, it's very balanced. I know in the past it's been super acidic or
Yeah.
like super barrel forward. This is like very well done. Like it's dialed in. I think at this point, like I mean, if you're a fan of sour beers, the can itself looks intimidating because it's like Jason said, it looks like one of those like candles, like
Yeah, it's like
Catholic.
a Catholic saint confession candle that you're gonna like
Yeah,
light.
Yeah,
And
and
it doesn't look like a summer sipper can,
the
but
symbolism too, back to World War One. You know, a lot of the soldiers back in World War One were fighting in Belgium and like with red poppy fields, and they would write letters home and then press red poppies in their letters, and that would be like a lot of times the last time that the families would hear from the soldiers. So sort of like the red poppies symbolizes World War I remembrance.
I did not know that. That's
yeah, I
sad.
didn't know that either. That's a good. It's a good note.
But yeah, I was expecting this to be different somehow. I've had this. Let's see. Do they put a canning date on this? No, I don't think they would. No, it's got to be like 6, 7, 8 months old. But I mean, you could sell a red
What's
poppy, and
yeah?
it's
What style of beer is it?
It's
Good
kind of like a
question.
Flanders red. In that zone.
Yeah, it comes off like a Flanders red, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where the red poppies were pulled from World War One. So I
Yeah.
can see the tie-in.
It's a Flanders
I bet
red,
you-
6.5%, and it's made with sour cherries. So
Beautiful.
yeah, cherries come through again. This is all about balance. You don't get a whole like it's tart, definitely, but nothing that's going to strip the enamel off your teeth. You don't even feel it like in the back of your jaw. You know, it's a nice, refreshing acidity. I would say.
I feel like all the breweries that were going really hard on acid heavy sours have just dialed it back over the years. Like if you they still make oud tart and it doesn't taste like oud tart tasted 10 years ago.
No, yeah. I think it's one of those things where like you start making sour beers and it's like, wow, we made a super acidic like beer. We did it. Like our bacteria is working for us. We know how to do it. We pulled it off. Now let's put it in a bottle and then people drink it and it's like, wow. Yeah,
Well,
you sure did.
It took over
I
the
mean,
brewery at some point.
to reference myself, right? It was the bottle share hero. That was really what made these acidic beers big stars, was that
Right.
you could pour a splash of it for 20 of your friends and they're all like, whoa, that is crazy. Like that is a big flavor. And when you only have that much of it, you're like, holy shit, that was great.
It's gonna be a teaspoon.
Yeah. You have an ounce of it and you're like, holy shit, that was great. And then when you try to drink a full glass of it, you're like, fuck, that's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
basically a beer made to be a shot, versus a beer made to be drank as a whole product.
Yeah, this is not that. It's very well dialed in, very drinkable. Again, you have to understand what you're getting into. Like it definitely has an acidic bite to it, but if you're a seasoned beer drinker, you know what you're getting into, and this is just very well done. Very clean, refreshing. You get again a nice cherry flavor, that Flanders red feel without it being too heavy or too like I don't get any acetic notes at all. No vinegar, nothing. Like it's just super well done. And it's in a can, which is a trip. Like getting red poppy in a can is just weird.
I
never
bet you
thought
though
I'd see
in
the
5
day.
years it won't be flat.
Probably not. Yeah.
So cans beat corked bottles once again.
I think
Once
I'm gonna end
again.
it right there. Yeah.
Rip Modern Times.
We calling it, stopping the show. All right. Bloop.
I don't want to say rip modern times,
I do.
but I'm not gonna buy their beer anymore.
You will be
Yeah, we
missed.
can stop. We're done.
I mean, like, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not gonna put money in fucking Brewery X to make more fucking Thin Blue Line fucking merch.
No.
Somebody posted it was like a blue line Punisher skull with a modern times thing right on the forehead.
I don't want to see it.
Oh man.
Exporting.
Anyway,
doing the thing.
And yeah, good beers. Holy shit. I'm so excited for Everywhere to open.
Cause you're everywhere.
I didn't know the beer was called Everywhere to me. I just saw the Radiant and Everywhere,
Everywhere
like,
to me
thing, and I didn't.
I love their logo too. The logo's like, it looks like a Pac-Man with eyes.
It does. It's good. It's like reflective of the font or the typeface that they chose as well. For
exactly.
Livery.
It's all very clean. They should be open like in a month.
Honestly, their logo typeface reminds me of like something from an album cover of a 90s alternative band.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, Everywhere. You didn't hear their new track?
Because you're everywhere to me.
No.
I support cops with my tax dollars.
Whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, cops. Never mind. I don't want to talk about cops.
Cops.
I want to talk about the Steam Deck. Steam Deck. Jason, we had to talk a while
blow my house down.
About like Switch and why I thought Switch was cool for a kid. I've changed my mind, and giving Jason credit for this because the Steam Deck it's not cheaper than the Switch, but man, it is so versatile. Like you can do
play
so
everything,
many things with the Steam Deck. Aside from playing Nintendo IP, it's so good. I am so happy I bought a Steam Deck. I bought the 512 gigabyte, the most expensive one, and that was $650. But I am super happy I bought it. I have been playing it literally every day, and now I'm playing more PC games than ever before. I check in on my Switch to play Animal Crossing and clean up my island, and that's
Kyle really wants you to send him some deck pics. Me and Greg are fighting over it. We're both trying to click it up. I mean, Steam Deck versus real deck. Like one made of fucking high resolution, high temperature plastics, one made of wood. One of them, you got to use a lot of nails and screws. One of them comes all assembled. Like Steam Deck beats a real deck all day.
We need some deck pics.
Weird joke, but okay.
I've been very much about home improvement lately. So,
what if I got a deck made of Steam Decks?
Why? But like, your backyard is flat. A deck doesn't really make sense.
Well, I could put stairs going up to a deck, and then it's like
you just want to have like a little raised platform.
It's an above ground deck made of Steam.
So you could look at what's going on at the park. Like you just sit up there with your beer. Like,
yeah, that'd be weird.
What's going on at that
people
park?
Driving down LaSalle are just seeing my head.
You just sitting there, your full body because you're like 4 feet up. You're just like, hey, what's up? I'm on my deck.
I was talking to a guy at work, and he's getting his backyard done. He's spending almost $200,000 to do his backyard.
Holy fuck!
He lives in the high desert, so I mean,
with a
what
pool
the fuck is he doing?
Money.
I get there must be a pool, right? And what? A guest house?
80,000 of it is a pool, definitely. But I'm just like, oh, that's too much. And like, well, what if you got, but I was like, I really want a pool, and they're like, well, what if you got like an above ground pool and you built a deck? And I'm like, yeah, but if I'm hanging on my deck, like I'm pretty much hanging out at street level from my wall in my backyard. Like, like it's weird. I don't know.
Mark McLean says, can you do a session that's a full-on session, full-up business? Like, are you looking for like a fourth show? Like we do like 4 full recordings in one.
All right. Could you guys do a session that is a full-on session? Just go full out on booziness.
I feel like Mark is looking for us to be fourth show wasted.
All right, Mark, that's a lot of work for me, and we did that in the past. And we would get together once a month and do 4 shows. That's why the fourth show thing exists, or second show, fourth show, because it's too much alcohol. And
to be honest, the amount is. When we're doing the shows remotely, we generally drink 4 full beers or 5 or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where when we were doing it in person, it was probably the equivalent, but spread out through the shows because we were splitting each beer.
Yeah.
So we'd buy one beer and split it 4 ways. So we're
Yeah.
I
like
honestly
3
don't want to
ounces.
go back to recording 4 shows at once.
It's kind of sketchy for a few reasons. Like I would like to do it like on occasion or whatever, but it's hard to get together and do 4 shows. It was always pretty challenging for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
We definitely want to do more in-person shows, and now that it seems like we're not getting a crazy summer wave, like COVID's still around, but it's not full on fucking epidemic, I guess. Like it's less shitty than it was last summer, I guess, for COVID. And definitely want us to do like more in-person stuff at breweries and stuff. And that's really, I think, when we're going back to in-person shows, we're going to be probably doing location shows before we're doing studio shows, I think.
Let's do our first one everywhere.
I'd be down with that. You want to set that up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you set that up? Yeah.
I just don't know the date, but yeah.
I mean, if you hit them up and they're willing to do a show with us, then
I mean, compared to
Minos
John
loves
from
us.
3 years ago when we had to do something every week and like without fail, and now it's just like I'm so flexible. It doesn't matter, Greg. Set it up, and if it's a month from
We'll
now,
make
then
it
we'll
happen.
do it. Like,
honestly, I would say maybe towards the end of the summer. I even forget what our fucking anniversary is at this point, but it would be cool to have like a
It's
4 Brewers.
July-ish.
it's basically the beginning of June, I believe.
Well,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
we're late for that, so let's do something late summer. And like having a 4 Brewers bash with some of our local crew, you know, a lot of the folks that are hanging out in chat today, which is cool.
Let's have it in your backyard, Jason.
Fuck, I got a lot of work to do in that backyard before I have a bunch of people over. I don't even have the path yet.
Dude, you just got the grill, man. Just set up the grill. That's
I do
all
have
we care
the
about.
fucking plancha. I could fucking
That's all we care about is
I can make
cold beer
poblano-
and hot tacos.
I'll make some fucking poblano tacos for everybody. Some carne asada.
I'm down. Where'd
Greg
Greg
just
go?
fucked off.
Fucking eat it out.
Greg heard there was tacos and he's fucking on his way.
What happened?
Hit the wrong button on my mouse, my back button.
I'm like, Greg, come over. And he's like, I can't. I'm like, I have tacos. Click. Greg's on
I'll be
his
there.
way.
Are you drinking Keystone Light, Jason?
Yeah.
Some stones?
Popping some stones.
There's no C&D for fucking me. I could still drink them.
Stone technically
It's one of
won
the
that
best
lawsuit,
values.
They fucking won. Dude, the villains keep winning. It sucks.
What was it like? How much is it? It's $9 for 20 beers, right?
15. The 15
15.
pack.
Okay, that's 15 pack
Keystone,
for
like,
$9.
Innovated the 15 pack. They're like, take the 18 pack, cut 3
I'm
out.
all about that. Yeah, it's really good.
It's
Then
actually a good amount of beer.
Founders. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Founders does the 18 pack, right? 18, 19.
I
20.
think they actually might have 15s of the all day or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it was all day. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No, why was it Stone at Firestone Walker? I don't know. They haven't been there in quite a while.
Firestone's probably trying not to get hit with a C&D.
Modern Times not there either. Modern Times was a previous invitee.
So
not
Greg,
anymore.
what were the notable breweries for you
Dude,
at the?
side project, killing it.
Okay.
Of course, I'm always down to try all of the people that come in from out of the country. Among those, there was 2 from Germany. One of them was like a straight up traditional like Pils, Helles, Dunkel, and their Pilsner was goddamn. I'm like, every brewer here needs to come by your booth and try your Pilsner because this is what Pilsner's all about.
So we
For
just
who-
focus
who was
on
that?
basically
Sorry,
like
I missed
pills,
that.
lagers, and lighter beers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and right next door to them was Frau Grubner or something like that. They're from Germany as well, but they're like American style. So they have like double IPAs and hazes and shit like that. And they're all like all their beers were stuck on docks for quite a while and it just didn't represent well. They're like, sorry, like our beer is much better, but it just sat like we just got our beer in today and it was warm. So that was kind of sad, but there's people from Argentina that were there that had like ice box and shit, like just crazy shit from out of the country. Of course, Garage Project was one of those that just absolutely slayed it. They had a line Even like the early let-in session had a line.
Garage Project still. Wow.
Always, yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. I mean, the beer's good, and then what they're pouring is always fun.
And they're from New Zealand or Australia?
New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay.
Side Project brought more of the dry, funky beers. I didn't taste too many of the diabetes things that they do, but they had a line of like 200 people all day long. Same with Monkish. Breweries there, no line. But I mean, I tried almost everybody. That's the beauty of drinking lagers all day. It's like I just want to try everybody's beers and just splashes of things.
I love Beer Fest getting away from just having all big barrel-aged high alcohol bombs. Like it's just that's not the only place where beer's good, you know? So
yeah, and we stayed in Morro Bay. It was my anniversary that day. So it was like my wife sort of dropped me off, and
My wife.
you know, I still have to be coherent at the end of the day. But we drove by Tascadero and we missed out on hitting the Wild Fields.
Wild Fields, yeah.
Is right there. God, I would love to hit that up. Because dude, love those people.
Their spot is basically like a equivalent, like not quite Chuck E. Cheese, but like they bought out like kind of a Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
Awesome.
It's something else, and Sarah knows because she's from there. She knows what it used to be, but it's something that was like Chuck E. Cheese like, and it still is. They have a bunch of arcade games, and they
Chuck
have
E.
like
Cheese adjacent.
Yeah, they have like a bowling, like a little mini bowling thing, and
that
it's
sounds
pretty
rad.
cool. It's a
and
cool
the beer
spot.
is excellent.
Yeah,
I got to hang out with Robert French, which we all know and love.
So
Frenchie
who was he there
there
for?
I don't know.
TFP
He was media. Dude,
yeah, that's what I'm
Full
asking.
Pint. So I was there with Full Pint. They had.
Were you there as OC Beer Blog or the Full Pint?
Full Pint.
Oh, okay.
I pitched Full Pint, and that's why I was there. And then there was like 5 people there for Full Pint, which is awesome. But
Delta, like I think the stuff they did on Instagram like was really well done. They had that really cool like Bob Barker like microphone that was super. It was like a 2-foot long microphone.
Yeah, Del.Beer, who runs that, he's the sort of president of the Southern California Homebrew Festival. Super nice guy, super knowledgeable. He's on the Full Pint podcast quite often, and also
it was really good. Like I legit liked their posts on IG stories. Like very well done. Like
yeah, and
we should go on the Full Pint podcast. Let's hit him up. Let's do all the 4 takeover on the Full Pint podcast.
I guarantee we could do that.
Let's do it. I feel like they'd be down for it. We should
hot
do
takes.
Like Danny and Johnny are the homies.
Danny loves hot takes, and he would love hot takes.
I did a one-on-one show with Johnny, and it was a fucking blast.
I should set that.
I'm down, man.
Let's do it.
Oh man,
let's hit him up. I bet they'd be down.
So almost a 15-year craft beer pod or website that he's so good.
Focuses on craft beer and the craft beer
industry. But first, we'd like to hear from our sponsor at Firestone Walker.
I got a
Mine Haze.
Dude, Danny's a good podcaster, and I don't think he realizes how good he is at podcasting.
He's great.
I haven't been to a beer festival in 3 years, so I haven't seen Danny in a long time. So it'd be cool to podcast with those dudes.
He got the COVID apparently the last couple weeks.
Yeah, like the big thing is, so you were at Firestone. Were you fucking sharing fucking tasters with people?
We almost did. Beth was like, "Hey, try this." I was like, "Nope."
Yeah.
Keep
all
your
right.
damn.
Was she like,
okay,
thank
now,
you.
Greg.
I'm sorry.
Fucking Kyle.
FerkFest. No plans, man. I don't think we'll ever have FerkFest at that location again. Because
it's gotten really small too. Like they keep
the
filling it in with shit.
The restaurants that are in the park really fucked us. And I mean, the 1 year we had it where 18 Folds was open, they were like, wow, we didn't realize this was going to be such a big thing. But I had a meeting with the owners and told them all about it. And they're like, yeah, this is crazy. I'm like, dude, you could have been part of this. Like you could have and they have local beer on tap, but they just weren't willing to have a good day with us. But that's unfortunate. And the people
Is
that
there,
are there,
without like divulging information, do you have other maybe potential places in Anaheim?
yeah, I was at a bar in Fullerton, and I happened to sit next to the
Were
owner
you somewhere
of,
down in Fullerton?
somewhere down at Fullerton. Burp, 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 burp,
That's for
burp.
John.
No, I was sitting next to the
It's a
owner
place
of
you just go to forget about it all.
the owner of the Old Ship.
Get away from it all. I'm sorry.
So the Old Ship is a British restaurant in Fullerton that has a double-decker bus behind it. Oh, funny you say that.
Fucking
Brewery
Marty,
X,
shut the fuck up.
it's no joke. Before Brewery X was open, we were in talks to have FerkFest there, and their huge parking lot one year, but
Well,
it
they're
fell through.
Chuds, owned by Chads, so no thank you.
Chuds and
So, yeah.
Chads. All right, gang. I gotta bounce.
Later,
Company's
homie.
here.
Me too.
So, cheese, bro.
Cheese.
Stay fresh,
So,
cheese.
FerkFest
Stay
might
fresh,
be a
cheese
thing in the
bags.
future. It might be something happening, so keep your eyes open. And Greg will be in contact
Greg,
with you.
mini
on-
FerkFest in your backyard. We get 2
It's happening.
casks and we just fucking.
I have
get
3
shit-faced.
casks. I was cleaning out my shed yesterday. I have 3 casks back there. We'll fill them all with seltzer, and we'll have a good day.
Cool.
15 gallons, baby.
Everyone,
Ferk and
thank you
seltzer,
for
dude.
watching.
30.
Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys maybe
Love
next
y'all.
week. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah, I should
I'm
hopefully
down.
be able to mule back beer from San Diego and Arizona, so that'll be fun.
All right.
And stay fresh, cheese bags.
Peace out, people.